I'm pleased to be speaking with Tuomas Sepp, who is the city secretary, which in the States we would say the city manager of Tallinn, a city of some 400,000 people that I was privileged to visit in March. I was the third of the three of us who have been there, so now we have a lot of collective experience there. Okay, a small place with a lot of history. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history first to set the stage. Estonia became independent for the second time in its 600-year history in 1991 when the Soviet Empire crumbled. And just as that country was rebuilding, Russia entered its major debt crisis, one of the many financial crises that I think I've seen in the last 20, 30 years, and which of course immediately caused Estonia to lose most of its export markets pretty much overnight. But by 2005, 6 years later, it was being called the Silicon Valley on the Baltic Sea. So it's a long history, but in a few words, Tuomas, what happened between that 1999 and that 2005 to be so transformative?
Your Worship, dear friends, I already feel myself here like in my home state.
Yeah. Oh yes, this is the fourth time Tuomas has sat here and had this conversation.
Yeah. And
and
really,
by the way, come on.
Okay. And now I might explain it for third time, but at least, it all started from our people, and I think people is a key factor in all the changes. I think we were ready. People were ready for every kind of changes. We were behind the iron curtains for 50 years. And our starting platform was, I would say, much better than for these who already had something and had to change what they had when computer age started. We had very low starting point, and because of that, that was easy to start. People were ready. And what happened? 91, independence again. 92, own money. 94, last Soviet troops left. And 96, there was our president initiative called Look at World, and that was in these days very, very head-looking proposal to all, to people, to the companies, to the public sector, to join. And I would say that our private sector, including especially our banks, they were innovative. They were just started banks, not the branches of world banks. And our telecommunication companies, they were really engines in this process. They put money for training. For example, there were programs around for 110,000 people in age 65 plus to get a first touch with a computer. Now we started a next phase. We tried to make another to reach the last ones. Last we can't reach anyway, but these who at least look at this for 300,000 people, and Estonia itself is 1,300. So we really try to reach the last people who didn't get a touch with computer yet. So
this Look at World Foundation was an interesting jumpstart thing. It was funded by the telecoms, as well as by banks.
Yeah.
And as well as by, was Soros involved in that as well?
Yeah,
the Soros Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a real, public-private effort to basically just say we're all going to get online, we're all going to become computer literate. And of course, it wasn't all, but it was a magnificent effort.
Yeah. And then what after 2000 was a law about digital sign, and when 2001 ID card infrastructure, X-Road project, you probably know about this already, and 2004 joined EU just 13 years after regained independence, so it's quite quick changes.
Yeah, well, it was turning on a dime, as we say in the States. Part of that was something that was called Tiger Leap, and it was just an idea, and then it became a sensation. And again, like this Look at World, it seized the public imagination, and a great deal of private sector, a great deal of public sector, a great deal of just personal energy went into it. And it was all about it started out as being put computers into schools. Okay, that sounds simple enough, but it ended up becoming online banking programs and everything else. My question for you is, why do you think it was so important to put Tallinn and Estonia online specifically?
I think this was an idea pronounced to people who waited for the idea. And that was again about the good political leadership and good management also, because we know there are many good ideas, even in this room, even now, to go to a pub after the ceremony or whatever, but how many of them you can really convert into a life, that's a different problem. And I think our people were quite creative. To go back to the Soviet times, Estonia, even in these times, were quite in the head of 15 so-called Soviet republics. So we had some potential before.
Mm-hmm. So, by the way, for the elected officials in our audience, I mean, just a little tip here, the gentleman who suggested this Tiger Leap was at that point the ambassador to, I think, the United States, or it could have been the United Nations. He's president today, so it worked out pretty well for him as a platform, shall we say.
He's still supporting and having a new support to ideas.
Absolutely. When I was in Tallinn, I had the privilege of visiting the Technology University and then a smaller facility that's part of it called the Estonian IT College. And I got to hear about how they got started when they all had, Soviet-era equipment and had to work with that and very creatively and gradually replace it. What are they doing to create the talent that Tallinn needs and to move it, to channel that talent into work in the local economy?
Yeah. I would start with IT College. This was, again, public-private initiative. We have an association of Estonian ICT companies. There was Estonian Telecom. There was state through Ministry of Education. So all the sides were represented. And they started quite quickly, and now we have a new premises. They producing good stuff for our offices, because sometimes our ICT education was too ICT concentrated. Mm-hmm. Now we need real ICT managers, how to convert these ideas into a life, to help the leaders, politicians, for administrators, how to really convert these ideas into a life, and that seems to be a problem. And of course, our Tallinn Technical University now having a new premises, you probably visited these, and they have a great potential. They made some so-called Technopolis, which is again 130 companies already. We are of course not the big ones, but at least a number of them are growing. There are incubator services supported by the city. It means you get a room, you get a connection, you get a computer, you get grants, just to start. And that how the Skype was born in Estonia. How it was. 6 guys get together, tried to sell the idea to some companies, didn't succeed, and decided to go for themselves, and did it in one room, not a big room. And now there are, I don't know, hundreds of millions of users. How many of you? almost, yes.
Well,
Thank
remember
you.
when the
Thank you
Beatles,
for that.
remember when the Beatles auditioned for Capitol Records, they got turned down, so you can't always pick them. It's interesting, one of the little details that you actually get when you go to this place is you discover, yes, they have incubators. The major technology park is right next door, strangely enough, to the Tallinn, Tallinn Technology University, and right over here is the IT college, and suddenly you go, oh, I get it, okay, so we just move right in here, set up our business and go. It was another thing I liked about your IT college was that in addition to being a college, it maintains the IT for the university, and it also maintains it's the hub for all distance learning, as
Absolutely.
I was told. So that's, again, you're taking that expertise developed there and you're moving it across the nation.
Yes, that's I think this idea was just needed because otherwise that couldn't happen. And how many people already are going there to study, young people, this shows. And already from the second year, companies are getting them at the same time to work for them also.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to get graduated people from there. And the question is not only about ICT education, it's quality of education. And I think there are quite a lot of people among the teachers who are really working every day in companies, for the companies, who really know what they are needing, what their needs are, and what really expecting from the students. So that's why I think it's very close for the real life, and that's important to my mind.
When I was visiting you, your colleague Vaino Olev took me to see a secondary school that was science and math intensive, in fact very intensive. It sort of frightened me, the program that the young people had, and then into the public library system, which of course has IT training and access, so you can see this pipeline being created everywhere. Now, there's another aspect to it. This year, one of the things that came out as we learned about our top 7 intelligent communities was that we like to have fun and have contests. Tallinn has taken a path like many other intelligent communities by organizing special events and contests to promote IT, promote communications and entrepreneurship to young people. If you could tell us a little bit about that, that would be useful.
Yes, so we organizing a fair for the young people from school to find new ways to school, to continue education or to go to work. And there is also some award to the best of the best ideas. There are also students who having the best graduates getting jobs in our office also. And we also having very dense connections with ICT companies association, and together with them we organizing special grant programs also, and but I think we spend a lot of time to especially find the youngsters. Nevertheless, they are in somehow much farther of us using these.
We hope so.
I'm absolutely sure about that. If you're looking for what's going in our homes, you can really say that.
One of the, I went to something called the ICT Demo Center, which I don't have time to talk about in great detail, but there I got a real view of something interesting that is absolutely, distinguishes Tallinn from almost any other place I've been. Tomas referenced the National ID program, and those of you from places other than the United States are probably saying that's fine, we all have that, but if you're in the United States you know that that's socialism and we're never going to do that because it's evil and it will destroy liberty. What they've done with this, though, that I just adore, your legal address in Estonia is an email address provided to you it's an official state email address, and it's tied to this national identity. And then once you have that secure, absolute secure proof of who you are online, the world opens. Could you talk about some of the online services that are available to you as the holder of a national ID card?
Yeah. From 2002, we already have this ID card. I have a card number 216 and lasting for one more year, and I think it's already started to be proved, but I still giving digital signs through this. We have a population of 1.35 million and 1.1 million card holders, not issued cards, card holders at the moment. So everybody have an ID card. This is a key to your services. This is key for e-elections, for example. We had first e-elections in 2005. There was 1.9% of participants in e-way. Now we had last October elections where 15.7% already of population, of all the votes, were given via internet. And next March, I think this figure will be more than 20. It's increasing. But the trust about these things from our people, that's very important. That's why we are also a very good platform for big companies to test their solutions, because our people are really trusting it. 92% of tax declarations were sent via internet. 92. You can't get more because there are always some problems to be explained. And what else? E-school solution, what you probably saw, parents can follow what children are doing at school, teachers having comments, remarks. Now we are trying to put it also to combine it with learning materials, to put a special e-education system. We're talking about e-health, which is now meaning that doctors are not anymore writing in a way nobody understands what medicine you need. This is via internet prescriptions, and you go to apotheke and get your medicine. And there are plenty of other ideas. What I can share? Mobile parking. I'm proud that we started in 2002, and now mobile now companies also dealing cases in USA, and Krista Tassa is here. If somebody would like to hear more, you are welcome. We started it in Tallinn in 2000. E-ticket in public transportation, just a virtual ticket. And we get some 75% of all incomes of public transportation through this way. So, e-history. We are a city of long history, and we now scanning all the Middle Ages documents in special way, of course, and this history will be, and you will make all the church books where all our parents were registered. We will get our genealogy, and this is just a couple of examples.
And again, it's hard to. It all sounds interesting, but you go, you log on, you validate who you are, and the array of services is almost endless. It's just remarkable, and it's all based on the single point of trust, which is the word you said.
Yes,
because we know the system knows who you are. Absolutely, you can trust the system.
Yes, it's ID card, it's your codes.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
It's the systems that you have to follow.
We're coming up to the end of our time, but I do have time for one more question, which just has to do with the fact that Tallinn has suffered a good deal in the recession. You had a tremendous boom. When I was there, I was reading about your property bubble bursting and all this very familiar stories to me as an American. And so you are battling that very aggressively. And if you could just tell us a bit about what an intelligent community, which is hit by the recession, is doing to maintain its edge and perhaps come out stronger on the other side.
Yes, it's true. Everybody were in the recession. Some countries get more of that, out of that, but we are really get hit it strongly because we had some bigger Scandinavian banks and we were branch get some loans from the bigger international banks, and that's also inflected. Loans were given too easily, like it happens in several countries. And in this case, we really tried to see what the city can do, and we took a special Tallinn City Economic Recession Assistance Package for residents and entrepreneurs. It consists of 41 different measures. Some of them were already used. We put some additional money into these things, and there were some new things to do, including subsidies for the companies who used, for example, rents in city premises in case of the employee people. When there were some new subsidies for the companies, including training, including export, including creating jobs, taking part in affairs, and so on. And a special package was for the citizens who couldn't manage with loans. We had a free consultation on behalf of lawyers, on behalf of students who learned in high schools, special loan consultations, how to manage with your money and with your life and psychological information. So it's all included, and we had some international conference just recently where some, I don't know, 18 cities participated, and we shared experience. And this is, I think, this is a part of every city will do every time, but in a very, very high pressure way.
Well, and the connecting theme in every one of the programs is that you are working very aggressively to maintain that innovation capacity, the people, the knowledge, the infrastructure, so that when you get to the other side of this, you're going to come roaring out, stronger than ever. And it just was very clear as you looked at the program.
Yes, we are a small country, and if changes will be quick, good or bad.
Yes, exactly.
And of course, we try to overcome them quick.
Exactly. We have run out of time, which is unfortunate. I have a great deal else to ask and to say, but I hope you will join me in thanking the City Secretary of Tallinn, Estonia, Toomas Sepp, for an interesting half hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.